Well, we're in January, about 8 weeks now until the early access version of FM25 comes out. We still had no notification, which is a little bit worrying in itself, with only 8 weeks to go to the early access. But I just thought I'd make a quick video on what I would like to see out of FM25. And I know it's been spoken about an awful lot, but one or two things that kind of have piqued my interest. And the Premier League licence, you know, a lot of people are kind of saying, well, does it really matter? Because we've always been able to mod it, it doesn't really matter. Yes, it does actually, because from a promotional point of view, the Premier League licence could mean that they could use Premier League players to advertise the game. Certainly, you know, adverts with the Premier League licence on it are all going to promote the game. You know, the advent of the, you know, women's football in there. I know a lot of content creators are being, well, a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of knuckle draggers around, isn't there? And you know, you've got to come into the modern age. I think the advent of women's football in Football Manager is going to be absolutely brilliant, and it will bring new players in. I think there's going to be a lot of young females out there who are getting into football, watching their own teams, watching the England women's team, and it will, I think, well anyway, I think it will enhance Football Manager as a product. The graphics, I think we all know, don't we now, that the graphics are being tailored more to the console version, because I've just been looking at some stats, and the console version now, the amount of players who are playing that are outweighing the PC version. Obviously the PC version I think will always be the biggest, you know, the most in-depth version, but hopefully FM25 will make the console version bigger and better as well, more in-depth. Another thing to speak about as well, we all know about Football Manager and the mods that people bring out for it, and there's some terrific mods out there, and Sports Interactive have always been okay with that. They've always been on board. I mean, you know, they actually allow you to drop all of the mods into a convenient folder. Is it going to be that easy in Football Manager 2025? I'm sure that the bright sparks around the world will find a way around it, but when the game comes out there won't be any mods, and whether it will be that easy to mod, I don't know. But anyway, modding, I don't know whether it's going to be a thing or whether it's going to be that easy to do, but we all love the mods, don't we? Maybe it might well be that we don't need to mod it. Maybe it will look absolutely brilliant out of the box. And of course, you know, with me, if you watched any of my videos, then the match engine has to be sorted out. I'm not bothered about the graphic side of the, you know, of the match engine. That doesn't really bother me. I was playing it the other day and my grandson was watching, and he said, "Oh, Grandad, the graphics are rubbish." Well, he plays FIFA. They are gonna be, but FIFA and Football Manager are two completely different animals. Whether we'll ever get to a stage where processors are powerful enough to have a game like FIFA with the backstory that Football Manager has, I don't know. But at this moment in time, like I say, the match engine does need an awful lot of sorting out. If you watch any of my recent videos, I am sick and tired of watching my goalkeeper pass the ball to the opposing centre forward who scores the easiest goal in the world. I mean, there's some real buffoonery goes on, and I did say in one of my recent videos, I think the match engine has a very, very poor, I'll put some more verys in there, a very, very poor representation of what's going on the pitch. Because you constantly see, if your team is not as good as the opposition, you'll constantly see your team tripping over the bootlaces or just running with the ball and then standing there and letting the opposition have it. It's a very, very poor representation. It's really weird because, I mean, I've got a save going at the moment that, well, I've got two saves going, one with a Brazilian team and one with a relegated Manchester City into the Championship. But some of the moves that the match engine can actually produce, some of the lovely football and passing, beautiful goals, you kind of think, am I watching the same match engine here? Because On the one hand, it's a buffoon. On the other hand, it can actually represent it really well. So there's a lot of work to do on that match engine, and I'm hoping, I don't expect it to look like FIFA, and I'm not bothered. I just want it to be a true representation. I've said for a long time now, I want it to be a management sim and not a computer game. Because again, one of the recent videos I made on one of my saves, there was something, well, in fact, I'll tell you what happened. In the first half, I got 3 forced injuries. And I likened that in the game. I said, most computer games have 3 settings, don't they? They have easy, normal, and very hard. You don't get that in Football Manager, so you just play the game. But I think the game does its own version of that. So sometimes it will do it easy because your team is like, you know, maybe top of the shop. But that game, I thought, okay, the game itself has switched into a very hard mode because it gave me 3 forced injuries in 45 minutes of a game. And of course, then the game becomes not just very hard, it becomes virtually impossible, and the game switches it itself. And again, I'm not sure whether that's a great thing, to be quite honest. I don't mind getting beat in a game, as long as the representation of that getting beat is fair and square. I don't mind that. Okay, I don't want this to be War and Peace. We should be hearing something. I think the roadmap was that we're going to bring out some news by the end of January. So I don't want this to be War and Peace. But please, Sports Interactive, if you're listening, can you just have a look at that, please? You know, the match engine really does need sorting out. Cut the buffoonery out and try and make it as near to a simulation of a football match where I am the manager, I'm making the decisions, and you read that. Please, can we have that? We'll see you very shortly.